Hey lads, TechScanning here. So yes, finally Sony launched its most awaited camera flagship phone, the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 5. It's a $1,400 price tag device shipped alone in a box, which means no charging brick and cable. While the handset retains all the top features of its predecessors, however, there are many substantial improvements, especially in the camera department. But let's start with the design. So just like before, Sony brought a simplified design language that it has been using for a while now. However, this time, there is a texture on the back of the phone and the middle frame which is giving the extra grip. The newest Xperia 1 Mark 5 features the Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on both the front and the back, so improved drop resistance compared to its predecessor. The handset retains the tall form factor, having a 21:9 aspect ratio, and like the last year's model, on the front it has the same 120Hz 6.5 inches OLED 4K resolution display that will be accompanied by a thicker top and bottom bezels. But Sony put these bezels to a good use, like placing stereo speakers on both bezels, while the top bezel also features a couple of sensors, including the 12-megapixel selfie cam. So on this screen, you will be able to get around 900 nits brightness on auto mode. This is not as high as its competitors, but sufficient enough for outdoor use. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark 5 is still keeping alive the 3.5mm audio port and micro SD card slot, probably the only brand offering these in its flagship phones. Like the modern performance-focused flagships, Sony Xperia 1 Mark 5 sports the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which means it will be able to run any application and games without any hassle. Not only this, the newest chipset is much more energy efficient than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 on the last year's model, so despite offering the same 5000 mAh of battery capacity, we will get improved battery life. And Sony also claims they have made significant improvement in thermal management, so this will also help in improving the battery life. There is the same 30-watt charging support, which we can say a bit disappointing for such an expensive device. And yes, there is the wireless and the reverse wireless options. Sony Xperia 1 Mark 5 has received the most exciting upgrade in the camera department. Like before, it has a triple camera setup, but this time with a new 48-megapixel primary sensor. For the other sensors, there is the same 12-megapixel telephoto offering continuous optical zoom between 3.5x to 5.2x, and the same 12-megapixel ultra-wide sensor. For the new main sensor, which the Sony called Exmo T-Stack sensor, it is 70% larger than its previous generation. Besides the higher megapixel, what's the improvement here? So for the techie guys, in this new sensor, Sony has placed a photodiode and transistor in different layers instead of one sitting next to another. This means a large size photodiode that can gather more light, while the transistors on a different layer are also optimized to reduce the noise. In simple, the new primary sensor on Xperia 1 Mark 5 performs better in low light situations than any other Sony phone we have so far. While there are many camera shooting modes in the camera app, but one of the worthy to mention is S-Cineton mode, which allows the user to capture videos in preset cinematic modes. You can take up to 4K video recording at 120 FPS. Just like any other high-quality flagship phone, Sony Xperia 1 Mark 5 also sports IP68 water and dust resistant, so you can have peace in mind while carrying this device outside. There will be 3 color options of handset: black, platinum silver and khaki green. In the US, they are already taking the pre-orders with shipping expected from July 28th. And that's it for today. What do you think about the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 5? Do you think it's an overpriced flagship? Drop your thoughts below in the comment section and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.